Okay, so I'm trying to do it kind of an in-depth video on how to do the upholstery work where we're combining the headliner to here. And I've shot this a couple of different times, but I'm going to try to get it all in one foul swoop here. The question is how to make this cut so that when it's all done, it doesn't bunch like this. And I can't with two hands show you, but this cut will indeed lay flat when it's all said and done. We'll put underneath here in this gap, we'll roll foam. So foam's going to push back out on the material on the inside and kind of give it some pressure, which is going to help hide any minor mistakes we make. I've got carpet tape here along the top edge. I will go back and staple as well, like this, along this, but for now, I'm working with tape so I can set it and reset it and get it just right. Also, I'm on the forward hatch here. Water comes over the boat this way. If I happen to have the hatch open and the water runs in, I want to make sure that my folds all come towards the aft so that basically the water will run, ideally it won't want to run up inside there. So this fold will go aft, and then this fold over here as well is going to go aft as well. So if the water comes in, it's just going to go down inside. We can wipe it up, but hopefully not getting into the inside of these spaces. So you got to kind of think about that when you're setting all this up. So I've got this back piece in. I'm gonna just go through the process of laying another piece in right here. And obviously this side will be cut because this piece is going to come around and fold. So I'll get to do a cut here and show you how that's done. And then I'll go over here and I'll do the fold and kind of show you how I mark and do the fold. So I'm going to pass it off to my camera operator. Here we go. So we're going to start out by folding our piece of material in half. You don't want to be cheap. I've got plenty of material here to cover the gap. So just don't be cheap. Get lots of extra. This is upholstery. You need space to make mistakes. Otherwise, it's gonna cost you in the long run. So I'm just gonna rough my material in half like this, and then I have a center point here. I'll just kind of stick it there, and I'll line this out here. This is where my fold's gonna be. I've got plenty of overlap here to deal with later. I've got my chamfered edge I talked about earlier, allowing the butyl to settle in. So that's going to be nice as well. I'm going to bring this around. I don't want it to stick any further than about the center point, maybe slightly past, something like that. Okay? And then I'm going to pull on this in such a way that I'm going to get a clean line that I want. I'm pulling it off the center there a little bit. I'm pulling it underneath, not flat to the edge, but just at a little bit of an angle. And then I'm rolling this back up. See how it's diving down here? It's okay. Let it dive down. That's helping me make the corner without buckling it. Pulling it tight, like this. I need it to go past the center mark in order to be able to hide, the seam behind the fold. So now I'll take my pen and I'll mark inside there, like this. I've got my thumb already marking inside. I know where to go. I'm going to come down here and mark it like that. I'm just going to cut that. It's past the center mark, which is here, so I have plenty of room for my overlap. There's my scissors. Here. So I'll go ahead and trim this off. If I feel like it's too close to the middle, which it's a little tight here, I'm going to give myself just an extra space. So I'm going to come back for now. I can always cut it later. I'm going to come back and I'm going to give myself about a 1/4 inch relief off of this. Just like that. So let's fast forward. Now we're done. In theory, this is all under. We're trying to create our overlap. You can see here, it's going to have a little buckling, but when it's done and the material on the inside is in and it's all pulled tight like this, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to give you a nice clean seam. So now let's go to this side. I've already done that on this side, obviously. I can show you where once it's stapled here and here, it's going to give us a nice clean. It's going to give us a nice clean seam. Minor bumps. You want to go over my left shoulder, maybe? I don't know.
No, it's great.
Okay. This one. And then, so with that backing inside there, it's going to take up a little bit of that puffiness, and I can even drop this front edge just a little bit like this to help with that. like that. So that's going to give us a nice clean. Now I'm creating this center fold. So what I'm going to do is take this, and I want to find the middle of the deal. The line is not going to be straight because it comes around. If I went straight on itself like this, then it would come down at an angle. The line's going to be kind of at an angle like this. You can see it's falling away. So what I'm going to do is mark the top and bottom. So I've got the line where I want it. It's center on the hatch. It's folded over backwards right now, but that's okay. I'm going to mark it here, and I'm going to come on down at the very bottom and mark it here on the bottom as well. Okay, now I'll lay a piece of carpet tape in here. I'll fold it over on itself, and then I'll have my seam. Hang on one second. Let me get the carpet tape. Like that. Make sure it's good and straight here. Stinky fish. There. So that's folded over itself now.
We'll fast forward this part in the edit.
I was hoping not to edit it, but looks like we're gonna have to.
Good Lord, you are butchering that.
There we go. Okay, so now one more piece here. So the line's here, so I'll fold it over along that fiberglass tape line. Like that. Okay, I'm going to cut the excess off here. The more material you have under there, the more you have to fit around the hatch, which can be really difficult at times if you don't give yourself enough relief.